just getting my stream up on my screen. My laptop is not behaving at the moment, so apologise. I think I need to restart my laptop. Yeah, it's completely dead. Okay. Let me open in my phone for now. Okay, it looks like qualifying is about to get underway. Apologise, I'm still just setting up. I will not be too much longer. There we go. Okay. Let's get it up on my laptop, that makes things easier. Get the standings up. Again, I apologise, I'm still getting set up. And I wouldn't still be getting set up if my laptop would behave, but sadly we have not had that privilege today. There we go. Okay, I think we're all sorted now. So we're back for ESRL. For some reason my frame rate is awful. Oh, I think that's just... Ah, okay, it was just because it was in dynamic view. Okay. We're back for race 10 of ESRL. We're here in Japan at the Suzuka circuit, an absolutely beautiful circuit, but very, very tricky, especially that infamous Sector 1 S section, which can go very, very wrong very, very easily. And with elite settings in ESRL, it's going to be even harder for the drivers, and Major is going to have to not do that when he's actually on a lap, because if he gets on the grass in the braking zone, he's going to find himself in some trouble. Hello Rick, Japan is a very good track of mine, about to catch an 11-hour plane flight back to Amsterdam, so I'll finally be racing next week. That is fantastic to hear. And I hope you have a good flight back, mate, as I've already said in messages, I think. I'm going to ride on board with Major. And yes, go like the stream, of course. We're going to ride on board with Major in the Alfa Romeo as he comes up to turn 1 and now 2. Hugs the inside but invalidates on the exit, unfortunately. Very easy to do. So we'll find who is just behind him. Who's that on a lap? Amir. I think Speed Alcoholic's about to start a lap, so we're right on board with the Mercedes. South African has had a turbulent season. He's been in contention for wins several times, and has always been near the top of the standings sheets in qualifying at least, but just can't match the outrageous pace of NER Ayrton so far this season, but then again no one can, and Speed, yet again, what's been his undoing this season, as I see a lot from him unfortunately, is his consistency in the races. He's so quick, very, very fast driver, Speed Alcoholic, but just can't get it together in the races. sometimes, and it really costs him in close championships such as this one, such as APPF1 I've seen. But here he comes now round to the final sector, through the final corner of that section and onto the back straight, coming up to 130R, the flat out left-hander. Here he comes, turn left, be brave, no lift off needed, and now down through the brakes into the final chicane. It can be a very tough corner to get perfectly, and speed, I don't think he's gotten it perfectly, but it's alright, it's not too bad on those mediums. A 29.3 from the Mercedes, and I think that will be the pace well and truly set for the rest of the grid, as Tier is 3 seconds off, and Avi in fact is 6/10 off on the soft tyres. So that looked like a better time from speed than it seemed from riding on board in his cockpit. Ayrton 2 in the Ferrari goes P3, as Sicario filling in for Rick today, who can't make it, as he said in chat, unfortunately. Goes P3 with a 30.1, all on the softs. Myra 29.7 on the softs as well. So Speed Alcoholics time is getting better and better with every single lap. Myra, remember, was on pole position last week, or at least very close to it, unless my memory fails me. The Alpine has been brilliant in all the races that they've been in, and just to be 4/10 off speed on the faster tyre at the first banker lap is quite something. So Speed Alcoholic really looking good today, but will he be challenged by the championship leader NER Ayrton? We'll have to wait and find out later, as Amir does a 1:30.0, so 7/10 off Speed Alcoholic's time. Although that's a little bit more like it. It's still quite a way off for the reigning champion Amir. Who else we got on a lap? We got Simps F1, someone I was told to watch last week, me and Sumo. The new driver in the McLaren for today. As he comes around, that's very deep though, very, very deep. That's going to cost him a lot of time. I think that corner's called Spoon, please correct me if I'm wrong. But here comes the McLaren now, up to 130R and down towards the final chicane. Just got to turn in, no brakes, no lifting, through 130R, beautiful corner, and now down to the final chicane. And down to the checkered flag. Well, not the checkered flag, but the checkered line. Anyway, as the McLaren goes P6 for now, a 30.5, so still 1.2 seconds off that. What is quickly becoming an incredible lap from speed, as Major has invalidated 2 or 3, I think that's now, 3 laps in a row for the Alfa Romeo. Surely the German is going to come into the pits. He doesn't, he's going out again, Major. So he's going to have one more attempt on those already stricken soft tyres. So he's desperate to at least get a banker lap in, and then hoping to improve it later. We'll see how he does as he comes through Sector 1 now. Left, right, and then up through the gears again, and then back down, left, and then up again, and then down again to the right. Don't hit that curb, just about gets it. And now left again. That's a hugely difficult corner to get perfectly. Major has done alright there, but oh my word, he's turned in about 60 million miles too early there, the Alfa Romeo, and that's going to be yet another invalidated lap for the German. Neil is on a lap, but he's also invalidated. Let's watch Womack, the Bulgarian, in the Williams. As he comes through Sector 1, it's purple through Sector 1, in fact, for Womack. So the Bulgarian on a charge here. He's, of course, going to need to nail the final 2 sectors to even get close to Speed Alcoholic's time. But Womack's looking good so far as he comes through Sector 2. We'll continue riding on board as he comes up to this left and left again. Speed is on an outlap on the soft tyres, by the way, so watch him light up the timing screens. But here comes Womack now. Can Womack go on provisional pole, I wonder? It did seem a bit wide through Spoon. Coming up to 130R now. Hopefully the AlphaTauri gets out of the way just about. That was hoots too much. But Womack's down to the final chicane now. Looks okay, but a little bit too conservative there. I think a bit too slow through the final chicane. That's going to cost him, and it's a 30.2 in the end from the Williams. But it's still not too bad. It puts him in P6 for now. We've got Neil on another lap on those medium tyres through Sector 1. Purple again. I think I'm going to start trusting the purple sectors less and less. It used to be only Sector 2 that was bugged, but I think it's extended over to Sector 1 as well now, unfortunately. Someone just improved. That might have been either Patty Pat or I think that was Vans Racing, actually, up into P10. With a 31.9, quite a way off the pace. I think we will see quite a big variation in pace today. Because this track is very, very difficult to nail every single corner. Ayrton is also on an outlap, by the way, the championship leader. He's on the medium tyres, so can he beat Speed's lap on those mediums? The 29.3 is the benchmark. We'll have to see if the reigning champion, the Dane, can do it. Here comes Neil over to the line. It's P9, a 30.6 on those medium tyres. I'm going to ride on board with... we've already ridden on board with Speed Alcoholic today. Well, let's see Ayrton's lap, shall we? Using that Devon Butler helmet from the story mode of F1 2021. Womack goes into P2, so maybe that purple sector was telling the truth after all. The Bulgarian looking very pacey out there. 129.7 from Womack on the front row for now, just about beating out Myro, which is no small feat at all. Keep an eye on Womack today. Still 4 tenths off Speed, but not bad at all from the Bulgarian, because Speed and Ayrton are often in a different league when it comes to qualifying. Talking of Ayrton now, here he is in Sector 1. You've got to avoid the curb, especially for that corner. And now this right-hander, maybe a little bit deep, but maybe doing it to get a better line for the next left-hander. And he's done that perfectly, the championship leader. Round he comes towards the next sector. He's not purple through Sector 1, though, so very interesting. Ayrton obviously on the medium tyres, so it's not going to be an easy feat. But Speed also did his lap on the medium tyres. So perhaps Speed could be challenging Ayrton on pure pace today, which is not something you often say when it comes to Ayrton. Around this left-hander now. I think got a bit too much of the curb on entry there, which could cost him maybe a hundredth or two. But it's not going to be a huge deal, I'm sure, for the AlphaTauri. Down towards 130R. Keep to the inside, and now break at the 100 board in towards the final chicane. Speed does a 28.5. Oh my word. Now that is setting the pace. Ayrton does a 29.3, pretty much identical time to Speed Alcoholics last time. In fact, I think I'm just going to go into Race Director quickly. I'm pretty sure... Is that identical? 29.358. So it would have beaten him by just over 100th of a second. So it's going to be very close, it looks like, between Speed Alcoholic and NER Ayrton. And hopefully we're in for a great battle, even if not for pole position, for the race victory. Ayrton has done his lap on the mediums, though, so if he stays on the mediums, he's going to be on a completely different strategy from the Mercedes. Which will make things even more interesting as ERL Sicario improves to a 129.5 and goes P3 just behind the Dane in the AlphaTauri. As Amir beats him as well. Time's getting faster out there. 29.4 from the reigning champion in the Red Bull. Is his teammate going to be able to do anything? Avi is on an outlap. He's currently about 5 tenths down. Myra does the exact same time as Amir to the 1,000th of a second. It must have been down below the 1,000th of a second into the 10,000ths of seconds. The game must have decided Myra was just that tiny little bit faster, and the Alpine goes into P3 on those soft tyres. So very evenly matched between Myra and the reigning champion. Who else is on laps? Tia is on a lap in the Haas, going through sector 1. Lostock is, I think, getting out the way of people, so obviously he doesn't like the lap that he had done before. Hoots too much on a lap as well. Major is back out on track on the medium tyres this time. Did a 33.2. I'm not sure when he did that lap. I think that was on the previous lap, so we know Major can go a lot faster than that. Major is not someone we usually see at the back of the grid in ESRL, but he's going to invalidate there. Oh my word, how is he not invalidated there? I thought for sure he was a goner on that lap, but no, he carries on for these medium tyres. It was right on the limit there from the German as he comes down towards the last part of sector 2 now. Here comes the Alfa Romeo, just about not getting on the grass. That's good. As I said earlier, you do not want to be on the grass in the braking zone. And again, so close to invalidating. Major right on the limit here, really pushing hard to get himself into that those top 2 rows of the grid. Purple sector 2, but don't trust purple sector 2s on this game. Here comes Major down to the final chicane. It's looking like a fantastic lap from the German. Look at that clock, 26, 27, 28, 29, a 29.5 on the mediums from the Alfa Romeo, only 0.2 off of NER Ayrton on the same tyre, but Ayrton is out on the softs. So he's going to be looking to go faster and go for pole today. 2 minutes left in the session, there's still time for speed, and in fact he's just come out of the pits to start an outlap. But I reckon Major loves the alternate strategy. He always, well, not always, but he does like to go on the alternate strategy quite often. So I don't think we'll see him do another lap. I think he'll be very happy with that one. Amir on an outlap as well. But I think it's going to be a battle between Speed and Ayrton for pole. I don't think Myra and Amir are really in the same league as the top 2 today. And maybe even Major de Sola as well. Who else have we got out on track? Ayrton 2 is out on track in the Ferrari. Affectionately named Ayrton 2 because we already have Ayrton 1, who is the championship leader in the AlphaTauri. But here comes the Ferrari now through the first part of Sector 2. Vans has retired from the session. Where is that? It looks like on the exit of this hairpin right here. And there he is! Oh no, no, no! It's a huge pile-up! It's a huge pile-up here. Oh no! Absolute disaster. Ghosting is off, remember, in ESRL. So everyone's got to be so careful to tiptoe their way around crashed cars in qualifying. I don't think anyone else is going to have issues caused by the Ferrari there. It looks like Tia has gone for a spin. Ayrton is currently on a lap through Sector 1. Luckily, he isn't going to be affected by the crashed car, which is now despawned, luckily. That is a purple Sector 1 from the AlphaTauri. I would expect him to bring out the lap that he needs to secure that pole position. But it is going to take something to beat Speed Alcoholic today. It looks like they're fairly even on pace. There is the stray tyre from the stricken Ferrari that was once there. So Ayrton 2 will finish no higher than 10th. I'm sure he'll be hoping to be knocked down to 11th, so he has the pick of the strategy as the top 10. Have to start the race on the tyre that they did their qualifying lap on. Yellow flags mean something in ESRL. They absolutely do. You can't just ignore yellow flags in qualifying when ghosting is off. So Ayrton 2 caught out there, but unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. Here comes Ayrton now, the championship leader. It's going to be a good lap. It's a 28.4, beats Speed by just under a 1/10 of a second, and Speed is invalidated, so Speed will not get that pole position, but it's so close between the two. Look at that. Just under sort of 0.05 of a second between them, 0.5 of a second. So Speed unable to get his way onto pole, but I'm sure he'll still be happy with a front row and knowing that he's very close to Ayrton. If he still has the race pace that his qualifying pace seems to imply, and I think speed will be a real threat for the race win today, as Amir just about beats Myra into P3, as their identical times are no more. Amir beats Myra by just over a tenth of a second. Major back in the pits as expected. Speed also into the pits. Is anyone else on a lap? The only one is Simps in the McLaren. Is he any faster? He is. A 29.8 from the McLaren. Puts them into P9. And Ayrton 2 did in fact get knocked down to P11, which I'm sure he'll be happy about, making the best of a bad situation, being in strategic pole position there in P11. And Womack's knocked down to P8 in the end after it looked very promising at the start of this session. Unfortunately unable to compete with the top, but look at the difference in times between P3 all the way down to P10, only 6 tenths there between them. I think this will be a close race, certainly for the podium, although Major Da Sola, we know, is going to be very quick because he did his lap on the medium tyres. So he's definitely going to be a threat today. But it is Ayrton on pole position once again. We're getting used to it now. The Dane beats speed by just over half a tenth of a second. It is those two, a class of their own today. Amir P3 with a 29.3, 8 tenths down, with Myra just over a tenth further back. Major rounds up the top 5, but on the medium tyres, he could be a threat for the race win today, the German. Neil in P6, followed by Sicario and Womack, the Bulgarian, in P8. Simps goes in P9 for now. Avi down in P10. We're not used to seeing him that far down the grid. Ayrton 2, P11 after the crash. Tier in P12. Vans P13 after his crash. And then Patty Pat, Lostock, Moti Perets, and Hoots to Much line up the rest of the grid. Podium predictions from Vardy is Ayrton, Myra and Amir. I'm going to go with Ayrton. Oh, tough. I'm going to go with Ayrton. I'm going to say Major P3 and I think Amir P2, I'm going to say. I hate to say it, but it wouldn't be the first time Speed Alcoholic has bottled a race at Japan, put it that way. I hope it doesn't happen, and this could act as an anti-jinx, could mean that he drives an absolutely perfect race and takes the win from Ayrton. But now I've said that, I probably have jinxed him. So race nearly getting underway now. Going to start the formation lap very shortly. And we're underway for the formation lap. I'm going to enable all of my telemetry and look at the tyres. So we've got Ayrton 2 on... Oh, he's gone for the softs in the end despite being knocked down to strategic pole there. Tier in P12 has gone for the softs as well, as has Lostock, with the rest of the drivers outside the top 10 opting for the mediums to start off with Major, of course, on the medium tyres in P5. He's going to be a real threat today, I reckon. But I think it's going to be a very fascinating race for sure. I'm going to put position change on. So, coming to the end of the formation lap, it looks like we've gotten a rift between the top 10 and everyone else. Ayrton 2 has slowed down the rest of the grid massively. I think the stewards will be having a look at that one. Look at this. They're, I mean, over 2 corners behind. I mean, that's at least sort of 30 seconds in terms of race time terms. Yeah, I think the stewards might be having a look at that one. Not for me to say, but yeah, just if you do have a look at this one, stewards, there's a very good view for you. Ayrton cannot see any cars anywhere near in front of him. But we're about to line up on the grid. Hello Zach, welcome to the chat. Always good to see you on a commentary stream as we're about to get lined up for the Japanese Grand Prix in ESRL. As, here comes the second group, led by Ayrton 2. Was dawdled around the track, it's safe to say. But we're about to get underway now. The grid is forming up. The lights are about to start coming on. Looks like someone might have crashed during the formation lap there as they ghosted through a few cars, but we're getting underway now. 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're underway for the Japanese Grand Prix in ESRL. Ayrton gets a good start. Speed gets an even better one and is already down the inside of the championship leader. Speed Alcoholic trying to hold it round the inside into turn 1, and he's done it. The Mercedes into the race lead. Amir keeps P3. Not much happening behind. Womax has made up 2 positions. Great start for him. Tier is all the way down. I think has spun at turn 2. He's going to be gutted with that right at the start, but Speed Alcoholic takes the race lead. Ayrton well down already, just not able to get the start that he needed. Speed Alcoholic, we know, is amazing at race starts usually, and that's Avi off as well. The Red Bull, the Constructors' Championship leaders, having a huge blow there as Simps has retired from the session. I have no idea what's happened there. That's some strange happenings there with the game. Simps just seemed to teleport onto the gravel with no front wing and no front wheel, so that was odd. But we've got a virtual safety car thanks to it. Luckily it hasn't caused a full safety car, but Speed Alcoholic into the race lead. What a brilliant start from the South African once again. He has become renowned for his great start, certainly in APP F1, and I think the same must be said for ESRL now. What a brilliant getaway. And well held, great bravery to hold it down the inside into turn 1. And kept the position from Ayrton, who couldn't do anything in the end. Tried his best. The South African just too strong as they come across the line. I reckon we'll have green flags now. We will, just as Speed crosses the line. But Ayrton has gained time under that VSC, so strategical play with the Delta there from the AlphaTauri. Right within range of Speed Alcoholic. Amir already 1.6 seconds down. I think we'll see that gap only begin to increase as the race goes on, because these two in qualifying, as we said, were in a league of their own. Womax, as I said, a good start, up 2 positions, up to P6 for the Williams. Ayrton 2 up to P9. Vans as well, and Lostock, Motiparets and Hoots to Much taking advantage of the carnage in front of them to make up 4 positions each. So we'll switch back to tyres on the tower graphic. And Ayrton still chases the race leader, Speed Alcoholic. And Myra is still chasing Amir. They've already made a gap to Major, who's could be struggling on those mediums in the early stages of this race. Especially that virtual safety car will not have helped. But I think he'll be right back in it pretty soon as those mediums get up to temperature. Ayrton within half a second of Speed. He's not going to let the Mercedes go. The championship leader, we know how good he is at putting pressure on and keeping the race pace high, and Speed is going to have his work cut out to keep that AlphaTauri behind for the rest of this race, as Amir tries his best to stay with them, but I think it's going to be an impossible task for the reigning champion in the Red Bull. Ayrton sets the fastest lap. Amir sets the fastest lap though, so perhaps not. as the Red Bull shows that he might have better race pace than qualifying after all. DRS now enabled though, so Ayrton is going to have a chance to get past Speed. DRS, of course, that flap on the rear wing will open at certain parts of the track if you're within a second of the car ahead, and give you a huge pace advantage on the straight to allow you to more easily make a move. But on Japan, very, very difficult to overtake at times. Vardy said Avi has got a drive through, so that's even worse for the Red Bull as he comes in to serve that now. So all the way down to last place, and he desperately needs a safety car now. But look at this, the AlphaTauri still staying right with the Mercedes. Look how close it is as he nearly goes into the back of the South African as they come into the left-hander. But Speed Alcoholic standing firm. They're still both on 90% ERS. Ayrton are using a little bit more, but it's not much, as Major already gets himself a 3-second time penalty, which sums up Major's season in ESRL, really. He does that quite a lot. But here comes Ayrton now to the inside at the final chicane. Surely not. There's better places to overtake than that, and indeed Ayrton backs out in the end. It's a bit more sensible for the DRS, but he will have compromised his line by doing that, and that may cost him down this straight. I don't think he's going to even attempt to make a move, is he? No, he's not. He's going to stay back, but Speed has used a bit of ERS to defend, and now they're back equal again. So this battle is not over yet, and Amir has not actually lost that much time to them. It might have been the little mini battle they had, but the Red Bull is just about sticking with the top two for now. We hope it continues. It's a 3-horse race, or a 4-horse race is better than 2, but anything is better than 1. As Amir goes a little bit off track there. There could have been a warning, but we saw earlier Major looked like he got a warning at that exact corner, but managed to keep the lap going, so you never know. But yeah, Major has been plagued by track limits penalties so far this season in ESRL. He always seems to be one of the first to get them, to get the first penalty, and today is no exception, unfortunately. But he is keeping up with Myra at the moment on those medium tyres. I think as those softs start to degrade, the mediums, although slower to begin with, they will not wear as quickly, and Major will have the pace advantage as the laps go on. Ayrton still within a second of Speed Alcoholic at the front of the race. Amir now down to up to 2 seconds, that gap. 2.3 now, so Amir clearly not getting that final chicane quite right, but Speed sets the fastest lap, and that is how to respond to someone being very close to overtaking you on the previous lap. Light up the timing screen and intimidate the car behind you. It's a very effective tactic, actually. Get in their head, say, no, I'm the faster driver, and I will be taking this race win, as Ayrton gets a little bit on the curb, so has to slow down there, but gets a better line through the left-hander, so to stay with the Mercedes, who has now got 20% less ERS in the tank. That's the little yellow battery you can see at the bottom. When that lights up green, it means they're using the overtake button. It gives them a huge pace advantage, but they can only use so much of it per lap, and when it goes down to 10%, they lose that advantage. But Ayrton still on 94%, Speed Alcoholic on 78%. So it's going to be tricky for Speed to keep the AlphaTauri behind on the next DRS straight. It could even be tricky on this straight as they come into the final chicane if Ayrton is feeling racy again. I don't think he's going to go for it, but look at the slipstream advantage. You can see how much he gains on the straight, and again they go side by side into the final chicane. Is Ayrton going to make a move? No, he's not. He's going to make the cut to try and get a better line out of the chicane. I think he's done so, and that could present an opportunity for the AlphaTauri as he comes up to Speed Alcoholic. Now he's using the ERS, that overtake button round the outside of turn 1. Oh, it cut away. I tried to go back to dynamic view. I thought it would give me the helicopter view, and it gave me the terrible cockpit view, so thanks for that, F1 2021. But regardless, Ayrton unable to make that move. It looked like Speed just braked much later than the AlphaTauri and said, no, thank you very much. You're not going to be overtaking me around the outside when you're not fully alongside at turn 1. And yeah, Ayrton's just going to have to say, all right then, I'll have to do it another way. As Amir is losing more and more time now. Major has gotten past Myra further back while they were battling, I think. So those mediums starting to come into play now, the alternate strategy for the Alfa Romeo. As here they come now. We've got 10 people watching, double figures on the live stream. That's always good to see. Good to see you all here. And I hope you enjoy what is so far a thrilling Japanese Grand Prix. Talking about thrilling, here comes Ayrton again round the outside of 130R. He's made the move, but he's going to have the DRS disadvantage on the main straight. But as long as he can get a good exit out of the final chicane, it's very difficult to overtake even with DRS. And we can see that there, the dirty air costing speed on the exit. And Ayrton has got the fastest lap now. There's a little bit of ERS advantage for the AlphaTauri as well, as Speed just not able to have the speed to get past the AlphaTauri into turn 1 and has to back out of it. So Ayrton into the lead of the race again, and he'll be hoping to break that 1 second range so Speed can't stay with him. But I think Speed will definitely have other ideas. Major back within a second of Amir, who's now lost 3.5 seconds to the top 2. So yeah, the qualifying times definitely showing that they were certainly authentic in terms of the race pace today. Amir in a bit of a lower league to the top 2, it seems, at the moment, but Speed Alcoholic has lost some time to Ayrton already, down to up to 7 tenths. It could be up to 8 tenths at some point as well if he doesn't get this next left-hander correctly. Ayrton looked like he did that well, but Speed just a little bit hesitant, a little bit too slow coming in, and that did cost him indeed about 0.5 tenth, which means he's going to have to use some ERS to stay with the AlphaTauri, and that could cost him. And I don't think he's going to be able to stay within the DRS for very long here. It looks like Ayrton has the better of the Mercedes in race pace. And look again, we see at the final chicane, Ayrton just the far superior exit, sets the fastest lap. That's 4 tenths faster than Speed's lap on that lap 7 there as they go across the line. And Speed well down, 7 tenths, 8 tenths. And I think that is going to increase to over a second on this lap. It's already up to 9 tenths as Lostock has gotten past Neil, who's gone into the pits, the Alpine, for medium tyres. So he's the first to pounce onto the new tyres. He'll be hoping the undercut works out for him. Trying to get the fresh tyres early so he can get a good outlap in. And when the other drivers pit, he's hoping that he's going to come out ahead of them. But being in just behind Patty Pat is not going to help him, actually. He's right behind all this traffic of the drivers who started on mediums at the back. And he could have get held up here, so that undercut plan might not work for Neil if he's stuck behind Patty Pat for too long, and I think he's going to be stuck behind for at least half a lap here. He's going to lose quite a lot of time to the Aston Martin, so maybe not quite getting the calculations right there. But Major, meanwhile, is on a charge for P3 on track. He does have that penalty to deal with, of course, but he can think about that later. We've got yellow flags in Sector 1. That's Tier, I think, who's had a spin, unfortunately. And that's going to allow Avi to take back P15, and it is indeed Major de Sola now, the German, through the final chicane. Still following the Red Bull. Ayrton sets the fastest lap again. He is really setting the pace now. 1.8 seconds, the gap to Speed. The Mercedes just cannot keep up with the championship leader. They were so close in qualifying, but Speed's race pace is just nowhere to be found compared to Ayrton's. And yeah, again, you do see that sometimes from Speed Alcoholic. He has absolutely amazing qualifying pace, but sometimes the race pace just isn't there for him to get the race wins that his qualifying looked like he would be on course for. But Major still having to follow behind this Red Bull at the moment for P3. Myra has dropped back quite a lot, 2 seconds down now, as Neil has gotten past Patty Pat into turn 1, so not held up for too long, but it was an entire lap he was stuck behind that Aston Martin, and now he's got another car to clear. It's Hoots to Much in the AlphaTauri, and I think Neil has made the wrong call here, because these back markers are going to cost him a huge amount of time. He was stuck behind Patty Pat for a lap. He's going to be stuck behind Hoots to Much for this lap now as well. So I think Neil could end up regretting that decision to come in early. Womack's within a second of Myra as well, actually. Womack's looking very, very good on race pace at the moment. Definitely within a top 5 shout here. Well within the range of pace he needs. Amir has come into the pits. That's an early stop. So Major, well, an early stop compared to the others anyway. Myra is in as well, so they're both looking for the undercut. Are they going to have the same problem as Neil, though? Are they going to be stuck behind slower cars, which would cost them quite a lot of time? Womack's into P4 thanks to that. Goes onto the grass to get as much of the track as possible. I wouldn't recommend that. As Major has gone deep, it looks like. He's gone very deep, and that's a huge amount of time he's just lost. Has he lost his front wing, in fact? He looks like he's got no downforce. It looks like he's just about got it back now, but Womack's is right on the back of the Alfa Romeo, pushing him through the left-hander, but not able to make a move, of course. I've tried making a move into there back in my more aggressive days, where I didn't quite have the experience I do now. I sometimes... so I tried to move down into that corner. It did not go well. It was not pretty. But Womack's is now well within range of the Alfa Romeo. I think Major does have the underlying pace, but that mistake is going to cost him massively, and yet again Major, the inconsistency is costing him places in ESRL. Womack's still within DRS range. I think he is going to have the DRS into turn 1, but he's not going to be able to make any sort of move. He's going to be too far back. And that is Speed Alcoholic into the pits, hoping to undercut Ayrton, but that gap was so huge as he got into the pits. I don't think it's going to be much use. Womack stays out on those softs, so how long is everyone going to stay out? Sicario is into the pits, the other Williams. Lostock also stays out. What about Ayrton 2 in the Ferrari? Is he going to stay out another lap? No, he's into the pits. So the only 3 drivers on the softs that have stayed out this long: Womack's, Lostock, and NER, Ayrton, of course, who, I mean, not only is he incredibly fast, but he saves the tyres as well. He is in a league of his own in ESRL this season. He's only not won 2 of the 10 races this season, if I recall correctly. One of those was because he wasn't here, and the other was actually a straight fight which he lost. He was battling with speed the whole race, and did manage to beat the Mercedes in the end, but it was Myra who took the race win, well clear of the 2 battling cars. On a different strategy they were. Womack's, is he going to come into the pits this lap? Is he going to decide the time has come after seeing how much time he's lost to Major already? 1.9 seconds is the gap. So those soft tyres clearly no longer behaving as well as they were before. They're still behaving for Ayrton though, of course. But he's a little bit different. But Womack's does stay out, so he's convinced that staying out a bit longer and going for the overcut, maybe the one stop, or the different strategy at least, he feels is the right one. Lostock has come into the pits though. He's decided enough is enough. As Sicario is now going to try and get past Moti Peretz in front. The Williams gets a good exit out the final chicane, and I think this move is going to be done very quickly. Moti Peretz with no ERS. You can see that flashing red light on the back of the Ferrari indicates that he has nothing left in that battery, and indeed you can see 5%. So it's sort of the vulnerable light, as it were. If you're the car behind and you see that red light, you know the car ahead is vulnerable on the straights. And Sicario dispatching the Ferrari pretty quickly as Womack's gets past Major, who's had a spin. Oh no! The Alfa Romeo, just as I was talking again about his consistency in races, has another terrible moment. goes for a spin, and that's going to cost him even more time after his mistake earlier on as well. And now Speed Alcoholic is within DRS range. I think this move is going to be done into 130R, in fact, because Major just doesn't have the pace, and there's contact between them. I don't know if there's damage to the Mercedes. There's no visible damage to that front left end plate. Hopefully Speed's car is okay, but that's going to cost him if there is damage. He seems to be okay through 130R, as Vans also gets overtaken by Amir, who is already stopped. As Womax finally comes into the pits, Ayrton stays out, but we'll ignore him. As Speed Alcoholic sets the fastest lap on those fresh mediums, so he's clearly throwing down the gauntlet to Ayrton, who has stayed out much longer, but Ayrton, of course, going to be faster towards the end of the race if this is indeed a one-stop. It's a long time since I've raced at Japan. I can't quite remember what the strategy is. Wumax into the pits as well, and just coming out on those mediums. He's going to be just behind, just in front, in fact, of his teammate. So he's just about made that longer stint work, and he's come out in P7. But look at that, he was just about a second behind Myra when Myra came into the pits. That gap is now 8 seconds. So you can see how much the undercut has, how much time the undercut has made for Myra. And Wumax, I think, just stayed out a little bit too long there. Fans Racing still sitting in P5 with Amir still going well in P4. Hasn't made any mistakes so far. Has just not been on the pace, and I think he is in a net P3 at the moment. So good stuff from the reigning champion. Consistent as always, in stark contrast to the Alfa Romeo of Major De Sola, who has got absolutely electric pace, but if he can't keep it on track, then it's not going to matter. And so far, it hasn't mattered much. He is in P3, but he is yet to stop. As was his teammate Vans, who is just about to be overtaken by Myra on the straight. Vans not making that too difficult for the Alpine. He knows he's in a different race to the Finnish driver. Wumax has extended the gap to his teammate, 1.1 seconds. As Sicario goes for a spin, just as I ride on board with the Williams. Oh no! He's gone into the grass, and he's going to be waiting there a long time for those cars to get past, so he doesn't crash into anyone. There's a couple more cars coming by. He safely rejoins the track, so good stuff from Sicario, but you can see was running a comfortable P8 and now down to P13. It's all gone wrong for the Williams driver. Neil with a 3-second time penalty, meanwhile, as Ayrton 2 is trying to get past Patty Pat, who has looked very far off the pace today, the Aston Martin, as he lets the Ferrari through. He knows he's not in his race, doesn't want to hold him up for too much longer, as Ayrton finally comes into the pits. I think he's going to come out behind Speed Alcoholic, in fact. So we're right on board with the Mercedes. Look to the right hand side of your screen. There should be an AlphaTauri coming out the pits fairly shortly. You can see him on the mini-map, that little dark grey dot. There comes the Mercedes. There goes Ayrton. He's just out the pits. You can see him there on the right. So Speed retakes the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix. But Ayrton is going to be on 3-lap fresher tyres. Only 2 seconds behind, and he is going to be chasing the Mercedes very, very hard. But you can see how much the undercut has gained on this track. It's absolutely massive. Wumax stayed out an extra 3 laps from Myra, lost 8 seconds, and even the great Ayrton is 2 seconds back from Speed Alcoholic after being 3 seconds up. So he's lost 5 seconds to the Mercedes just from that longer stint. He's going to be hoping to make it back up, of course, and I'm sure he will, but the undercut, I think, is the king here in Japan today. Major, of course, not able to keep up with the AlphaTauri. Not only is he NER Ayrton, but he's also on much fresher tyres, so Major unable to keep up for now, and still yet to pit the Alfa Romeo. Hello, Lifebout, welcome to the stream, no worries. It is currently Speed leading, as you can see. Avi sets the fastest lap further back, down in P15. He still praying for a safety car to get him back into this race, because at the moment he is not finishing any higher than where he is now. Unless someone makes a mistake or has a crash. Major's finally into the pits, and he gets a 5-second penalty just to add to the German's woes today. But he's going to be going on to the softs to the end. It is a one-stop today. There you go, the soft tyres onto the Alfa Romeo. He's going to be fast, but is he going to be consistent? That's the key. Here comes Womack. Is he going to be ahead of the Alfa Romeo? He is. Yes, he is. Where is Major? There he is. He's just coming out of the pits now. He's going to be behind Neil, in fact. So 2 cars to clear immediately for the Alfa Romeo. He is going to be a lot faster than them, but it is hard to overtake in Japan. Meanwhile, at the front... Oh, hang on. Before we go to the front, Sicario gets past Patty Pat. A simple move for the Williams. Up to P12 he goes. Patty Pat really struggling today. He's very, very far off the pace. In that Aston Martin. As Major gets himself another 3-second time penalty. Let's have a quick look at the penalties. It's 3 seconds for Neil and 11 seconds for Major. He is having a nightmare out there today in terms of penalties, but to be honest, it sounds harsh as Avi sets the fastest lap again. It sounds harsh, but we've unfortunately come to expect it from Major at this point in ESRL. He does get himself a lot of penalties. He's so fast, but he just doesn't have the consistency of someone like Ayrton or Amir to get those good results. Talking of Ayrton, he's set the fastest lap. He's already within DRS range of Speed Alcoholic, and we're going to have a fight for the race lead once again, but just like the first one, I think it's going to be very tricky for Speed to hold the AlphaTauri back for too long. There's still 11 laps to go in this race. If there were a few laps to go, I think Speed might have a chance to hold on here, but with 11 laps, I really can't see him holding back the reigning champion from taking his 9th, I believe, win of the season. As Moti Perez comes into the pits in that Ferrari, goes onto the softs towards the end. Patty Pat has stayed out for now. We've got yellow flags in Sector 3. We've got a crash. We've got yellow flags in Sector 1. What's happening? What's happening? I can't see anything happening. I think it might have just been a bug with Moti Perez's car in the pit lane. As Major is now right behind Neil and looking to make the move as soon as possible. I'll keep an eye on the gap at the front as well. In fact, we're going to cut to the front because they're about to come towards 130R. This is where Ayrton made the move last time. Major and Neil are side by side. I've got a cut between the two battles. I think Major's got that position done, so we're going to cut back to the race lead. Here comes Ayrton now. He's not going to make the move into the final chicane this time, but he does have the ERS advantage. It's not much. It's only 20%. And they're both on healthy amounts, but I think this is going to be the move made for the championship leader rather. Here he comes, Ayrton porpoising down the straight, but it doesn't matter. Round the outside into turn 1, and Speed goes for a spin. Oh no, tried too hard to stay with the AlphaTauri, and he's gone for a spin. He tried to stay on the inside to try and keep the move alive and to try and keep his hopes of keeping the race lead alive, but he's gone for a spin and he's now 7 seconds down on the championship leader, and it looks like the race is done and dusted for NER Ayrton, unfortunately. Unfortunately for us neutrals. Ayrton's going to be very happy, of course, but for us neutrals, it's an annoying one. Although that gap is coming down quite a lot. Maybe Ayrton feels like that incident was his fault and he's going to let Speed back through. I feel like that's what's happening here. Yeah, he's braking on the straight. So either there's a pedal issue for Ayrton, which would be quite something, or he's letting Speed back through because he feels the incident was his fault. A bit of vigilante stewarding there from Ayrton, but it looks like Speed is going to retake this race lead. And yeah, Ayrton has lifted off the brake, so here comes Speed back round the outside. He retakes the race lead. So Ayrton creating more racing for us, but this has also brought Amir into the mix. He's just under a second behind. He's going to be within DRS. Can he stay with these two? He didn't manage it at the start of the race. Maybe he can manage it now. But Ayrton using the DRS now. He's on 95% battery. He's got a huge ERS advantage to the Mercedes. DRS and ERS being different things, of course. Major on the back of Neil again, I'd like to say. I thought he'd already made that move, so Major still stuck behind the Alpine. Obviously Neil making the move back, but I think that's going to be it now for Major around the outside. You can see the vulnerable flashing red light on the back of the Alpine, and Major into P6, and he should be able to stay there this time. But Womack is 5 seconds up the road and looking very confident in P5. He's 12 seconds down from Myra, but I don't think he was really ever in the race for the top 4, Womack. He just wanted that top 5 position, and he has raced fantastically today. He's had a really good drive, and it would be a deserved top 5 finish for the Bulgarian as long as he can stay there. I hope I haven't just jinxed him, but he's racing well today. Hoots too much into the pits, so that's going to be another position for Avi. It's Major's retired! Major's retired from the session! What happened? What happened to the Alfa Romeo? It looks like at the back corner. Looks like he's had a collision maybe. We've got a safety car. So that's going to really bring things back into proportion. It's music to the ears of Avi84. There is the stricken Alfa Romeo. I'm not sure what happened to Major, but it's just another mistake on top of the already 3 or 4 mistakes he's made this race. And this one, unfortunately, is terminal for the German. So he will not finish this race. Ayrton and Speed, they're all going to come into the pits for fresh, soft tyres. So Major's crash is going to cause an exciting end to this race. Amir's going to be brought back into it, Myra back into it, and Womack also brought back into it. But I don't think he's going to be too happy with that, actually. He was cruising in P5. He wasn't really under any pressure. The only pressure he was going to come under was when Major caught him, but of course Major, with those 11 seconds of penalties, was never really a threat. So I think this is bad news for Womack, actually. Van's racing. It's good news for him, though. He's got himself up into P6. Look at that. The alternate strategy working absolutely perfectly for the Alfa Romeo. He can keep those softs on. He's only done an extra lap on them, so he's not going to... It's not like it's going to be a big disadvantage to him, especially the safety car is going to run down the laps a bit more. So Van's racing in a really good position here, especially with Neil's penalty further down. Lostock in P8, Ayrton 2 in P9. He's going to catch back up as well. Sicario P10. Everyone will have DRS and ERS in Japan, hard to follow. Well, I think it's going to be more exciting than if everyone is sort of 10 seconds away from each other. Life foul, that is all I'll say. Avi comes out of the pits on fresh softs, of course, as does Moti Pedets. Everyone except Vans, of course, on those fresh softs. But Vans has a very good reason for staying out. And I think the position he's in now has well and truly justified that decision. Tia is... unfortunately lapped once again. I think that's the 3rd race in a row that Tia's been lapped, which is not what you want to see. We all want to see Tia do well, but yeah, he's not having the most fun time out there at the moment. But I'm sure he's still enjoying himself racing around the track. As Sicario slows down to let Ayrton 2 through. And yeah, now Ayrton 2 is slowing down to let Sicario through. Please don't cause an incident, guys. If the game gives you 5 seconds, just report it to the stewards. It's not a big deal. Don't cause an incident by trying to let people through. Avi deserves that. He's been preserving well. Absolutely. He definitely deserves a safety car. I'm not sure what happened to him on lap 1. All I saw was his car off the track and into the gravel. But he has been biding his time. He's been patient. He hasn't made mistakes despite being at the back. He hasn't tried to push his car too far to get himself back in the race. And he deserves this safety car to get himself at least back in the hunt for a top 10 finish today. One lap old softs might make a slight difference for Vans. They might do, yeah, but I think the safety car will help because it's going to neutralise those tyres for a few laps at least. So I don't think it's going to cost him too much. Although I think he will be under pressure regardless because Neil, the likes of Neil and Lostock are usually faster than him. But I'm sure the Irishman will still be hoping for a very good finish. The safety car came just at the right time for him. And yeah, he's definitely going to have hopes of at least a sort of top 8 finish, I'd say, today. And of course, if you can stay within DRS of Womax, which is a tricky ask given how fast Womax has been today, but if he can do it, he'll be well within a shot of the top 6, or maybe even the top 5 if he can capitalise on a mistake. Tio has gone onto the hard tyres, which is certainly a decision. I think. Oh no, I know what he did. He's gone for a little bit of a spin there. Unfortunately, I know what he's done. He's pitted to let everyone back through, which is very noble of him. And no, we're going to get an incident caused here from people trying to let each other through. Just take the 5 seconds, guys. You can report it to the stewards afterwards and get it removed. It's fine. Just don't cause an incident trying to let people back through, because it's just not worth it. We're going to have the safety car out for one more lap, so we're going to get 6 laps of racing at the end of this race, as long as there's not another one, of course, which, when everyone is bunched up at the Japanese Grand Prix, you can't count it out, unfortunately. Especially with elite assists, it's very tricky. Not to say anything about the quality of drivers in ESRL, it's a quality league with some brilliant quality racing. It's just elite assists at Japan is really, really difficult. Why did it stay out? I don't know, Lifebelt. I don't know. I was expecting it to come in as well, but it has stayed out. The safety car. So actually we're going to get 5 laps at the end. 5 laps of green flag racing. Can Speed Alcoholic hold on to the race lead from the... well, I mean, the champion in waiting, it's got to be said. He is so far ahead in the standings, NER Ayrton, and he's going to be hoping to secure this championship. Either... well, I don't think it'll be today. It might be today, actually. He might secure the championship today. I can't remember the... let me bring up the championship standings briefly. ESRL, driver standings. So Ayrton is... oh, he's 65 points ahead. So he is looking to wrap up the championship today, actually, Ayrton, in that AlphaTauri. Tia needs to be those tires. Careful, those tires don't fall off the cliff by the end. Yeah. Those hards are really going to struggle by lap 27. Hards go maximum 2 laps. I do remember there being a bug with the safety car in Japan. Actually, I do remember a safety car in Japan that stayed out way longer than it should have. But just as I say that, it comes in. So maybe that was my fault. Maybe I alerted the race director to bring it in finally. But Speed Alcoholic is going to slow down the grid now. You can go at any point between now and the line, but there's no overtaking until the start-finish line. Around the final chicane now. And right on board with Ayrton to see when Speed punches it. He hasn't punched it yet. He's trying to catch out the championship leader, and he has done a little bit of a slide from Ayrton, but he stayed with Speed. Ayrton's safety car restarts have been fantastic this season, and Speed unable to match it for now. We've got battles up and down the grid. Womax was side by side with Vans Racing, I think, back there. Patty Pat has made a position. Sicario battling with the Aston Martin at the moment. Amir trying to stay with the top 2. Ayrton still trying to stay with him. It looks Looks like it's been pretty clean so far for everyone, but they're coming through Sector 1 now. They've got to be careful. Avi trying to take advantage of the battles. He's nearly goes into the back of Patty Pat. Round the outside of this corner. You don't see that very often. Is he going to go for the move down the inside here? No, he's going to be a lot more sensible than that, Avi. He's not going to go for that. That is just, I mean, you don't want to be doing that. As Neil gets past Vans Racing round the outside into the hairpin, so Vans losing out there on pace, I think, to those two cars behind, as I said, before the safety car came back in, and Lostock is going to look to be the next one to get past the Alfa Romeo. But Neil, with that 3-second time penalty, is going to cost him a lot, especially with all the cars bunched up here. He could go down quite a few positions come the checkered flag. But here comes Ayrton now. He's within 2/10. They've already, these two, extended a 1 second, 1.3, 1.4 second gap to Amir. But if they battle a bit more, Amir could be brought back into it just briefly. 1.2, it's come down a little bit, but not too much. Avi finally gets past the Aston Martin as speed, sets the fastest lap. We're not going to have DRS, of course, until lap number 26. So we're only going to have 2 laps of DRS. It's going to be tricky for Ayrton here, actually. It could well be that the safety car allows Speed to have a much better shot at winning this race. Vans Racing keeping Lostock behind as well for a lot longer than I thought, and if Neil can extend those 3 seconds, he's not actually going to lose many positions at all. Vans Racing really holding up the Aston Martin here, but he has every right to. They're racing for position, and Vans wants as many positions as he can from that lucky strategic break that he had. Myra within DRS of Amir as well. Well, not enabled yet, but within a second anyway. He's going to have. They're certainly going to have the slipstream for now. And talking of slipstream, here comes Ayrton, 86% ERS to Speed's 76%, a 10% difference. It's minute really at this point, with so little of the race to go. I don't think ERS is going to be the issue as much as keeping the AlphaTauri behind for the Mercedes of Speed Alcoholic. Going to check in with the famous Patty Pat, says Zach. Hope to see you back before the end, Zach. But here comes Ayrton now. Look at the exit he got out the final chicane. He's challenging Speed, but Speed actually gets the better exit. Ayrton a little bit shy on the throttle there on the exit, so he's not going to have an opportunity to make a move into turn 1. But DRS is now enabled. I thought it would be next lap, so actually that's 3 laps that Ayrton's going to have the DRS. I must have miscounted the laps, as Lostock finally gets past Vans Racing into turn 1. So Vans down to P8, and Lostock is going to be trying to chase down Neil now to secure that top 6 position. Neil staying with Womax meanwhile. Still got that 3-second penalty, but he's going to be looked to get the top 5 position on track. But Womax is looking brilliant today. The Bulgarian in the Williams, he has been right on pace, very consistent. I haven't seen a single mistake from him. And right now he's looking extremely strong for a top 5 finish. Myra is trying to get that podium meanwhile from Amir. It's still just about within DRS, but it's going to be very close. They're both on about half battery, as Ayrton now practically pushing Speed Alcoholic again through the left-hander, now down to the back straight. Here he comes, he's going to use the ERS, he's going to go for the move into 130R again. We saw it earlier in the race. Down the inside goes the Dane, they're side by side. Speed forced off the track a little bit, but Ayrton takes the position for now. The South African, but he's had a bit of a slide, Ayrton, and that's going to give Speed the advantage. Heading down the straight to turn 1, he's going to have the DRS, and he's going to make the move back. So Speed takes the race lead back again from Ayrton. 2 laps to go. Who is going to win this race? Is it going to be Speed or Ayrton? They've battled nearly all race long. It looked like Ayrton had it in the bag after Speed's spin, but then it came back again as Neil and Womax go side by side through turn 1, and Neil takes P5 on track. 2 laps to go. He still needs to pull 3 seconds from Womax, which is going to be quite an ask. But Ayrton and Speed battling for the race lead all the way down to the end. Sicario has DNF'd, by the way, at the final corner, it looks like. I didn't even notice that. I was looking at the fighting, so that's unfortunate for the Williams. I think he'll still be classified. He's completed enough of the race. It's 90% to be classified, but that's another position gained for Tier, at least at the back. Who's to much within range of Motipedets, and Avi and Patipat also fighting. Avi trying to get his way into P9. It's going to be a good recovery drive for the Red Bull to get himself into the top 10, but here comes Ayrton again, down the inside into 130R. They're still side by side. Look at the overspeed from the AlphaTauri. He's going to make the move before 130R, in fact, and Speed Alcoholic is going to need a mistake from the AlphaTauri again at the final chicane. Here they come. He's going to need a much better exit. He hasn't got it, but he's still going to have the DRS. They're fairly equal on ERS, so it's all going to be about the straight line speed. Here comes the Mercedes. It's going to be a final lap move for the race lead round the outside at turn 1. They're still side by side. What a camera angle! Ayrton has spun on the last lap, but he's managed to save it. How is he still on the track? The championship leader. Oh my word, how has he kept that on the black stuff? I cannot believe that. He looked like he was a goner. It looked like he was gone. I'm in disbelief. How is that AlphaTauri still running in P2? That is unbelievable. What a save from the Dane. But it looks like Speed is going to win this race here, because Ayrton 1.6 seconds down. Can Amir do anything to get P2? Of course, Ayrton is going to have overheated tyres for the majority of this final lap. But Amir just doesn't have the same confidence on the throttle on the exit of the hairpin as the AlphaTauri, so already losing time. Is this going to make an opportunity for Myra then into the final lap? It's a battle for the podium between Amir and Myra. Can Myra do it? They've both got about equal battery, so Myra has an uphill battle to fight here. He's got the slipstream, but down towards 130R, it's just too much for the Alpine, and I think it's going to go to Amir, but we're going to ride on board with Speed Alcoholic, the South African, in the Mercedes. He's driven a brilliant race, and he comes round the final corner to win the Japanese Grand Prix and sets the fastest lap on the last lap as well. Fantastic stuff from Speed Alcoholic. Ayrton somehow brings the car to P2 after it looked like he was into the wall. Amir takes the final podium position, a great drive from the Red Bull. Myra P4 just about not enough to get that podium in the end. Womack's a fantastic drive from the Bulgarian to take P5. Lostock in P6. Neil dropped 2 positions in the end from that penalty, and Avi a wonderful recovery drive to take P8 with 16 thousandths of a second between him and Vans at the line. That was extremely close. I didn't even see that. That must have been a drag race right to the line. Great stuff from Avi to get the maximum possible points haul from what was a dismal first half to the race. Lostock gets the driver of the day. I think my personal driver of the day... I think it's going to be... I'm going to give it to Womack's, actually, driver of the day. Because Speed made a mistake, Ayrton made a mistake today. Amir, I think it's Amir or Womack's for driver of the day. But I think I'm going to give it to Womack's just because I never saw a mistake from him, and he was definitely on the pace today, the Bulgarian. We don't usually see him as far up as in the top 5 on merit, so definitely improvement from the Bulgarian. I hope to see more from him as we enter the latter stage of the season. 2 races to go, but I believe that is the Drivers' Championship of ESRL Season 2 for NER Ayrton. He has been unstoppable this season. But let's go through the running order quickly. Speed wins the race with fastest lap, Ayrton P2. Amir takes the final podium spot with Myra in P4, Womack's P5, and then Lostock, Neil, Avi, Vans and Patipat make out the top 10. Ayrton 2 in P11, Motipedets and Hoots to Much P13, Tier a lap down in P14, and Sicario just about classified, completing enough of the race to be in P15, and then Major and Simps unable to finish the race. So congratulations to the Season 2 Drivers' Champion. As far as long as my maths isn't completely wrong, I believe Ayrton has secured the championship. So some congratulations to him. He's just been unstoppable this season, as I said, winning the first 7 or 8 races of the season. Yeah, just not really much more to say about the AlphaTauri. He's been in a league of his own this season, and he deserves that Drivers' Championship. But thank you all for watching. Lost stock, yeah, from P15 to P6. He did get Driver of the Day from the game, so fair enough to him. Yeah, what a race. I hope you all enjoyed. Very exciting end to the race. And I will see you all next week for race 11 of ESRL Season 2. The Drivers' Championship may be finished, but that doesn't mean there's not more excitement to come.